So both Donald Trump and Elon Musk have now came out and endorsed Andrew Cuomo for the mayor of New York City because they're absolutely terrified of Zohran Mamdani. They have seen his rise, and they realize that this is bigger than just Mamdani, that it's about the American people. And they realize that he is connected with people in a way that they can't, because they're starting to lose their grip. And as they lose their grip, people are starting to wake up to the billionaires and the elitists controlling us, and they're starting to go toward a Mamdani type of candidate. And this has absolutely terrified Trump and Musk to the point that Donald Trump is now threatening to withhold aid in New York if Mamdani wins. So he posted this. He says, if communist candidate Zohran Mamdani wins the election of mayor for New York City, it's highly unlikely that I will be contributing federal funds other than the very minimum as required to my beloved first home, because of the fact that as a communist, this once great city has zero chance of success or even survival. It can only get worse with a communist at the helm, and I don't want to send, as president, good money after bad. It is my obligation to run the nation, and it is my strict conviction that New York City will be complete and total economic and social disaster should Mamdani win. His principles have been tested for over 1,000 years and never once been successful. I would much rather see a Democrat who has a record of success win than a communist with no experience and a record of complete and total failure. He has nothing. He was nothing as an assemblyman, ranked at the bottom of his class, and as mayor of potentially again the greatest city in the world, he has no chance to bring it back to its former glory. We must also remember this: a vote for Curtis Silva, who looks much better without the beret, is a vote for Mamdani. Whether you personally like Andrew Cuomo or not, you really have no choice. You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job. He is capable of it. Mamdani is not. Folks, that is a man who is absolutely terrified of what's coming, and he absolutely sees the writing on the wall. But I want to point something out, because this is something that Donald Trump has always said and something Elon Musk has always said. They've said that the people, the will of the American people, is what we should follow. Steve Bannon even said that we should follow the will of the American people if they want to change the Constitution to allow Donald Trump a third term. So when he says that he's going to withhold funds from New York, how can you say that if that was the will of the people of New York City? If that's what the people wanted, then you are going against the will of the people. Elon's argument of, well, we're doing this because the American people voted for Trump. So you're telling me that Mamdani wins New York and the will of the people is what put him there, but you're going to override the will of the people and then say you're going to withhold aid because people voted for someone that you didn't like? These people absolutely hate and despise democracy, and they want a dictatorship. This is absolutely a dictator move to step in and say, you know what, we're not going to allow the will of the people to go through. We're going to punish the entire city because they didn't align with our political agenda. But Donald Trump understands that they're about to lose this thing, and I find it glorious to watch. I really do, because he also posted this. The Democrats are far more likely to win the midterms and the next presidential election if we don't do the termination of the filibuster, the nuclear option, because it will be impossible for Republicans to get common sense policies done with these crazed Democrat lunatics being able to block everything by withholding their votes. For 3 years now, nothing will be passed and Republicans will be blamed. Elections, including midterms, will be rightfully brutal. If we do not terminate the filibuster, we will get everything approved like no Congress in history. We will have free and fair and safe elections. What some bullshit that is. No men and women's sports or transgender for everybody. Strong borders, major tax and energy cuts, and will secure our Second Amendment, which Democrats will also terminate. I mean, he's absolutely just going for it here. He's playing all of the ridiculous Republican hits, and it's absolutely crazy. But let's keep reading this one. If we do not do it, they are far more likely to do well in upcoming elections, which would mean a packed Supreme Court, 2 more states, and 4 more Democratic senators, and 8 more electoral votes. Remember, Republicans, they are going to end the filibuster as soon as they get the chance. We know this because they already tried, and the only 2 people who didn't go along are now out of office. But they have a much less chance of winning if we have great policy wins after wins after wins. And then he goes all caps. In fact, they will lose big and for a very long time. So terminate the filibuster now, end the ridiculous shutdown immediately, and then most importantly, pass every wonderful Republican policy, aka Project 2025, that we have dreamt of for years, but never gotten, we will be the party that cannot be beaten, the smart party. Folks, I would like to talk to you about Chapter. Medicare is supposed to benefit seniors, but it can be so confusing. And with many agents chasing commissions instead of caring about folks, millions of seniors end up on plans that aren't right for them every year, paying too much or not getting the care that they need. And that's just wrong. Listen, Medicare annual enrollment runs from October 15th through December 7th. Even if you like your current Medicare plan, it's critical to look at 2026 plans or you risk losing coverage you need. That's because plans change every year and some just disappear. That's why I want you to know about Chapter. They're the only advisors that check every plan nationwide to make sure you get one that works best for you. Their help is free and they can review your options in under 20 minutes. If you're on the right plan, they'll tell you. If not, they'll help you switch. By doing this, they've saved people an average of $1,100 a year. So call Chapter today. Get it done fast and rest easy. You can reach them at 314-732-0423. Again, that is a dude who is absolutely terrified of what's to come. And for the first time, we're actually hearing Donald Trump admit out loud that he can be defeated and that MAGA can be defeated. So today is a very important day, and today signifies something very important. It signifies that people are tired of Donald Trump and his crap. I understand that this is just New York City. I get it. But people across this country are seeing Mamdani, and they're hearing what he's saying, and they're getting behind it. That's what we've been behind for years. When you look at Bernie Sanders over the last 50 years, he's been saying the exact same thing. And Bernie Sanders, no matter how old he gets, if Bernie Sanders lives to be 100, he will draw a crowd and they will come out to hear him say what he's been saying all these years, because that's what the American people have wanted for a long time. And we've had a lot of establishment politicians get in our way and block us from having that moment. But this is the moment that Donald Trump and Elon Musk and all their rich elite oligarch buddies are absolutely terrified of, because if the people ever turn on them, they're screwed. If the people will ever stop fighting the ridiculous culture wars, I know I bring up culture wars a whole lot here on the channel, and I do it for a reason. I want you to know, sometimes people say, Brando, why'd you cover that story? So what if Kid Rock blows up his Bud Light? Who cares? The reason why that I always share those stories and talk about those ridiculous culture wars is because I want people in my part of the world to understand that if you go out and fight a culture war, it might make you feel warm and fuzzy inside, but that's all you're getting out of it. You're not getting anything. You're not getting a living wage. You're not getting health care. You're not getting a better country for everybody. It's one of those things where I want people to understand that those culture wars are designed by people like Trump and by people like Elon Musk and their rich, elite, oligarch buddies, and I'm going to keep driving those points home. They get people to fight those culture wars so they will ignore the fact that they're taking them to the cleaners. So you look over at someone like Mamdani, he's done everything right. He has connected with the people the way that a candidate should, because he's went out there and he's listened to the people and he said to the people, I am listening to you and I'm going to fight for you, and I'm going to fight against the establishment. I'm going to fight against these billionaires, these people that make more money in 1 hour than you'll ever make in a freaking lifetime. I'm going to be out there fighting against that corruption, and it is corrupt. I'm a person who believes there shouldn't be a thing as billionaires. I truly don't. And I think if you are a billionaire, and I know there's billionaires on our side of the aisle too, but I just think if you're a billionaire that doesn't share your wealth and doesn't help people out, you're worthless to me. You really are. And I think most people feel that way. I think this is one of those moments in time, ever so often, we wind up on the same side of the aisle. And it's a weird moment when we do, because yeah, MAGA does have their terrible viewpoints. They have their racism. They have their bullshit that we have to combat every day. They have their absolute dark negative side. But when you strip all that away, we all want to be able to live in this country, pay our bills, take care of our family, and take care of ourselves. And it's one of those moments in time where if all of a sudden we could ever get them to realize, hey, those culture wars you're fighting and that hatred you have in your heart has not got you anywhere. Sucking up to Donald Trump and flying his flags off of your truck and wearing his shirts and flexing and dressing up like him for Halloween and going around acting like a pure jackass has not done anything for you. Every time I'm driving a backcountry road and I see a Trump flag flying off a house, or I see some truck all decked out in his merch, I say, there goes a chicken that's voting for Colonel Sanders. I say that every time. I point to my kids and go, hey, look, kids, there goes a chicken that votes for Colonel Sanders, because that's how ridiculous that it is. And so here we are. It's a very important day. And I really believe Mamdani will bring this one home. And when he does, it's going to scare the absolute living shit. And you're going to see meltdowns from people like Trump, and you're going to see meltdowns from people like Elon Musk. And I'm here for it. I'm here to watch them melt down. I'm here to watch them throw a fit. And I'm here to watch the people rise up and say, we're sick of your bullshit. And when the day comes that MAGA realizes these ridiculous culture wars we've been fighting, and this hatred we have towards transgender people has got us nowhere. It's absolutely got them nowhere. They're going to look over at a candidate like a Mamdani, and they're going to hold their nose and vote for him. And they may not admit it. They may not admit it. But there were a lot of people around this country that voted for candidates in the past, and they wouldn't admit it to you. There's a whole lot of that around here. Years later, I have had friends and relatives and people I knew that would admit they voted for Obama, but they wouldn't admit it. It took them years to admit it. Some of them, it took them a long time to admit they voted for Bill Clinton. But there will come the day that they will switch, and we're right now seeing it. And I can tell you how I know we're seeing it. Watch Donald Trump melt down. When you get Donald Trump to admit that he can be beat and that he can lose, I thought he was supposed to be winning. I thought they were going to get tired of winning. Why are you scared, Donnie? Why are you suddenly scared? Because he sees the will of the people outnumbering him. And Elon will sit back and say, we're doing the will of the people. We're doing the will of the people. I can't stand that son of a bitch. Well, the will of the people in New York is going to put Mamdani in as the mayor. And then what, Elon? It's going to ripple across this country. It may just start in New York City, but there's going to be more people go, you know what? That's what we want. That's what we've been wanting for years. And at the end of the day, Bernie Sanders will have been the godfather of all of this.